Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me give you a wee brief history of what I've been talking about earlier on. The field itself was owned by Gartcosh Social Club, and Gartcosh United used it for many years. The field itself was actually paid for by the people up in Gartcosh Steelworks, belonged to British Steel. Then when British Steel went defunct, it was either sold or given to the Social Club. And the Social Club has had it in its possession for as long as I remember. The things came to pass, someone came in, made an offer, the club sold it, blah blah blah. So it was sold to one person, then it was sold to another person, then it was sold to Balfour Beatty just recently. About 2-3 years ago I think it was, Balfour Beatty came in and cleared all the trees just prior to planning permission, which legally they shouldn't have done. And the fact that the gentleman and the farmer who came in and cleared all the trees, they shouldn't have done it, didn't have access to do it. But they still done it anyway, you know, taking all the trees off it, the raptor perches and all that kind of stuff. Then Balfour Beatty sold it to North Lanarkshire Council. Now, Gartcosh United was still using the field up till away last year when the council bought it. The council basically kicked the football club off and I don't know if it's right or I'm just going by hearsay. You know, I'm not putting it out there that it's written in gospel, that North Lanarkshire Council paid Gartcosh United 15,000 quid of our money, our money, to go and play elsewhere. Now, realistically, if somebody was paying me 15,000 quid, allegedly, to go play somewhere else, then I would take out money and run. Most people would. Then I think it was May or June this year, the council says to Gartcosh United, yeah, you can come back and play in it until August, which they did, you know. And the club came in, the Gartcosh United Football Club came in, cut the grass, played on it up till the 9th of August. That's when the deadline was for the football club to get out of it and the council to move in. But in between all of these times, we've had March, Ogilvy come in, decimated the area, violated the licensing laws that were given or issued by Nature Scotland on the licence. Then I contacted the police numerous occasions, had a meeting with 2 serving officers. That would be probably May, beginning of June. And in that meeting, there was I believe a Sheila McMillan from Nature Scotland. Now, the only reason that she was brought in was because I had quoted to the police the Wildlife Act and the Conservation Act, which they knew nothing about. So they had to bring someone in. Sheila McMillan stated in the presence of those 2 officers, I've reiterated, I've said this before, that the council and the contractors had violated, or jumped the gun is her words, they had violated the licence. And I asked the woman, I'm like, really? So yeah. So I then turned to the two police officers and stated, so she's made a statement in the presence of you, what are you going to do? And they looked at me as if I was daft. And I put a scenario towards them. I says, well, think about it. If I admit that I have committed a crime in the presence of two serving officers, then they have reasonable cause to assume that I've committed a crime and therefore would arrest me for this alleged crime. Nothing. So that was then. Then we come up to the 9th of August when the football club were getting kicked back off. Then Eco-Ecology were brought in to put up a wee fence, a wee rope fence to make everything look nice. You know, just the basic bullshit baffles brains. And then come September, Bam Nuttall moved in. They put a leaflet out at the beginning of September saying, yeah, we're going to do this, going to do that, and then in the near future. And I believe that they moved in on the 5th or 6th of September this year. And they kicked everybody out the field. Everybody. Which is fair enough, you know, it's a construction site. And then since then, we've had carnage, basically. The Waterville sites on the banking were all marked. And then just this last week, they decided to go into it with a mini digger, dig a barrier all the way around it, put up plastic boarding so that they could capture any voles within that area. Then they decided to cut all the long grass down to make life easier for them to capture the voles. Fair enough. But having said that, they've never ever addressed the other side of the field, which has 40, if not more, water vole sites. And the last video I put up with the machine going into the rough piece of ground, that's where the water voles are. And it clearly states it's a 9 metre exclusion zone. Some of the tracks and some of the holes that were dug were less than 2 feet away from the water vole sites. And then they proceeded to drive all the way through them, you know. So I mean, that's not going to help the wee water vole sitting in there going, I'm safe, with a 15-ton machine gun near them. And since then, it's been pretty well consecutive. The other issue I have is on the 13th of August, I reported an oil spill at the very bottom of the field to Strathclyde, North Lanarkshire Council, Environmental Health. They're like, yeah, we'll get it sorted, but I'll give it to my manager and blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, aye, alright. On the 29th of August, I spoke to her again, and she stated, we've passed that over to Parks and Recreation. They've emailed us back and told us it's all cleared up. It wasn't. I then got on to SEPA. SEPA got on to North Lanarkshire Council. That it's Bam Nuttall you need to go on. So Bam Nuttall have been left with a pool of oil to clean up, which is soaking into the ground, into the waterways, in every way, shape and form. And that's the way they've fenced it off, you know, make it look good. You're saving the environment, kind of shit. So that's the way it sits at the moment. And then we have all of this, all of the carnage that's going on, going forth. And don't worry, I'll keep you up to date. I'll keep posting, guys.